This is Sickle Cell and the Mind, a mental wellness podcast, brought to you by the European Sickle Cell Federation. It's time to reduce social isolation and create new pathways to mental wellness together. You're listening to Sickle Cell and the Mind, a mental wellness podcast, with your host, Leah Lewin.
Today I have with me Mimi from Belgium and Daberechi from London. So Mimi, I will just give you a quick moment to introduce yourself and what experiences and connection you have to sickle cell. If you could just give us a little bit of background information and we'll move into some questions.
Hello guys, my name is Mimi. I'm from Belgium and I'm Congolese, living in Belgium since 15 years.
Okay.
And I'm a member of ESCF. I was the vice president because I'm going to let my place to another person. And I'm also president of the Collectif Drépanocytose ASBL in Belgium here. I am a writer. I wrote a book with my testimony with sickle cell anemia in Congo and in Belgium.
Excellent. Thank you. And wonderful to meet you.
Thank you.
And Daberechi, if you could introduce yourself and just let us know a little bit about your experience with sickle cell.
My name is Daberechi. I'm 35 years old. I have sickle cell SS. My experience with sickle cell, it has been quite rough. It's on the smoother side now. When I was growing up, when I was younger, I had quite a lot of crisis, and I didn't really understand that I had sickle cell. I wasn't made aware. I knew that I had something, but I just didn't know what it was. Growing up, it became worse as a teenager, then to a young adult, and in recent years, it's become much better with blood transfusions. But yeah, it has been quite a challenge with a lot of pain, a lot of complications, a lot of sacrifices for my everyday life because of sickle cell. But sickle cell has been a struggle, basically.
Thank you very much. So, as I said, this episode is about communicating with families and friends. So, I guess the first question is what are the most common communication barriers that are faced by individuals with sickle cell when you're trying to discuss the condition with your loved ones?
Okay, so communication barriers. I think with my family and friends, it was hard originally to explain things to them because they're used to seeing me bubbly, they're used to seeing me well. So even if I'm amongst them and I look well and I look fine, and I say, oh, I have to leave a gathering, or say, for instance, I have to leave somewhere that they would really want me to be, and I say I'm in serious pain, it's hard to understand because you look fine, you're not screaming, you were just with us dancing just a second ago, you're just with us laughing, so how can you be in so much pain? So it's the challenge more is because it's an invisible illness, so it's hard for people to comprehend that you're in excruciating pain and your body's stabbing you or aching you or whatever it is, whatever feeling that you're going through at that moment. It's hard for them to physically understand because they're not feeling it. So the communication is usually through the not understanding because they're not experiencing it themselves. That's my experience anyway.
Thank you. Yeah, that's the thing with invisible illnesses. It's sometimes hard for them to quantify it if there isn't a tangible broken leg or an arm hanging off or something that is visibly seen. People tend to struggle with appreciating the level of pain that's experienced by someone. So yeah, I think it makes sense that would be quite a challenge. So Mimi, what would you say the barriers for you communicating with your family and friends would be?
I think the same case with what's your name?
Daberechi.
The problem that's all the person have to see us. I think dialogue and patience to explain and to make others people understand what we experiences on a daily disease. It's very hard to live with this disease, and if our family, our friends are not able to see us like we are, it's difficult. It's a real barrier.
Yeah.
Yes.
So, how would you say people could then educate their family and friends about their experiences without them feeling burdened?
I think we have to dialogue, to 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 say that we are not different from other people. The disease is not a barrier. We can live our life like other people, but in our own rhythm. We are not able to be on stress, and they are to understand. I don't know to speak about that, but it's
Mm-hmm.
very difficult to be understood by other people.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah. And Daberechi, what's your experience there? What would you say if you were to suggest to anyone when it comes to educating their friends and family? Do you have any thoughts on that?
One way that has helped my friends and family understand what I'm going through is when I'm in hospital
Mm-hmm.
and they say, "Oh, you okay? You okay?" And I just say, "No, come in," because sometimes coming in to see me in hospital, it makes you understand fully what I'm going through. Because usually, when you're in hospital and you're going through different stages with treatment, and every day could be different, you could be fine today, and you're on the phone with family friends, letting them know you're okay. Then the next day oxygen levels could be low and pain could increase, and they need to understand that day to day everything can change. So coming into hospital and actually being an advocate has helped my friends and family understand, wow, so this is what you actually go through,
Yeah.
as well as inviting them to events where things are spoken about in relation to sickle cell. That has what has helped in my experience.
Mm. That's really interesting. And it makes a lot of sense, actually, having them come and actually witness what you're going through when you're in a potentially very vulnerable state as well. But it's also, and I
Yeah,
think we mentioned this in a previous episode, having other people explain what's happening to you. Sometimes when it's
mm,
family members and you're kind of comfortable seeing this person, it becomes their norm and they're witnessing
yeah,
this as your norm. They don't
yeah.
necessarily quantify the extent of the pain and trauma that you're experiencing. Thank you. That I think that'd be really helpful for some people. So then,
Mhm.
Daberechi, what role do caregivers play in supporting the mental health of someone with sickle cell, and how can they avoid burnout themselves? Because we know that things like vicarious trauma can really impact those that are playing a supportive role.
I would say just first of all believing um, the person that you're caring for, understanding them, believing them, knowing that if they say that they're in pain or they can't do something or they need support, even if they look like they're coping,
Mhm.
believe the severity of what they're going through. Always listen and understand what they are trying to, communicate, and ask how you can be of support to them.
Mhm.
To avoid burning out is to have a village, to have a group of
Yeah.
people. I think people with sickle cell and caregivers tend to try to take the world on their shoulders and not tap into other people that love them and care for them
Mm.
and that would like to be there, but maybe don't understand what they could do, because sometimes it's like, okay, the person's in pain. What do I do? What can I do to help them? I can't really do much. But just little things like just saying, you know, come and like tap in so I can leave and you can take over, or bring some water, or just suggesting things to people that offer help, because sometimes we tend to just say, oh, no, no, it's fine, I've got it.
Mm.
Allowing yourself to take a break if you need to as a caregiver, and just understanding that your mental health has to be okay for you to be able to care for somebody else,
Yeah.
because there's a lot of guilt that can come with being a caregiver. Like, I'm helpless, I can't do anything, I've not done as much as I feel like I should, or am I doing the right thing, or can I do more? There's so much pressure sometimes on a caregiver, and allowing other people to support you as well is important.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it's very important to emphasize communication, to speak up about what it is you're truly feeling and what you're experiencing. Because, like you said, the guilt and the fear that surrounds caregivers when they feel helpless, it can
Yeah.
really heighten poor mental health. And they still have lives that are contributing to these things as well. So, thank you. Um, Mimi, do you have anything to add about role, what caregivers can do to support mental health?
I think with the organization of events and activities to make awareness for disease, and to showing that there are not only bad days with the sickle cell disease, there are also good days, but we have to break the silence, I think, and to show that we can go through the disease and to be able to live our life. I don't know if you understand what I want to say, but I think we have to show the positive side of the awareness of the disease, and people can help us with kindness and with patience to understand what we go through.
Yeah. Again, it's that going back to just having some communication.
Yes.
Um, so, how can people with sickle cell set boundaries to protect their mental and physical health in relationships?
Yes, we must break down prejudices with awareness raising by patients and our family, showing not only the negative side of the disease, but also the positive side of the disease, and
Thank you.
invite people to understand how we can live with this disease. I know there's good people in life, but there is also bad people that will not understand us. But I think that I believe there's many good people who will be able to understand us.
Yeah. Yeah. Thank you. And Daberechi, how can how do you feel people with sickle cell can set those boundaries to protect mental health in their own relationships?
I think being comfortable to articulate yourself and say no sometimes. That could be if there's something that someone else wants you to do and you know that your body's not capable of doing it. You need to be comfortable to say no. You need to be comfortable to communicate how you're feeling to your friends and family or people around you, whether it's colleagues. If the aircon is on and you're too cold, you need to be comfortable to say, either I need to move or this needs to come off so that I can work comfortably. If it's your friends want you to go to a club or something, and you need to be comfortable to dress appropriately for
Yeah.
your health and go out and be responsible enough to know that, okay, this is my limit now. I want to go home and not feel guilt. You need to be comfortable, if you just whatever you want to do in life, you need to take care of yourself first, because you are important. Your health is important. And just like I'm so sorry, I forgot your name. Just like
Mimi.
this Mimi has said, that it can be a lonely world for people that have sickle cell, regardless if you have so many people around you. It can be lonely in a sense where only you know what you're passing through. So people around you might not understand fully. And even when you explain to them, it still might be a bit baffling. So you have to be able to take charge of your situation and articulate yourself and do what is needful for you. Protect your mental health by protecting yourself.
Yeah.
And that can be in a form of different ways. It can be communication, it can be someone physically seeing what you're going through. I feel like sometimes in the past, anyway, I have not wanted people to see me so differently. So I've done things that I shouldn't have done as someone with sickle
Yeah.
cell, and now or been cold. And then once they physically see, oh wow, is this what it looks like for you to be in a crisis? Is this what it looks like for you to do this when you know your body's not, okay to do
Mm.
it? Then they fully understand that, wow, like now I know that when you say you can't
You
do
really
this, you
can't
can't
do
do
it.
it.
Yeah.
It's sometimes showing people, even if that means that you have to, I know it sounds crazy that you have to sometimes be in a crisis for people to understand
Mm.
what it is you're going through. But sometimes people need to see it.
Yeah. And I think,
And
I mean, that will work for some, it may not work for others. It doesn't, we can't negate anyone's experiences because of our own. But it's important that you find your own kind of coping mechanisms and your own ways of just trying to share your journey. It's so
mm,
complex that sometimes just trying to share that journey is an additional challenge in itself. So,
mm,
again, thank you both for sharing because I know this will help somebody watching. Um, so, what impact then does stigma within families and within friendship groups have on your mental health as someone that has sickle cell?
Mm,
so for me, um, the impact of stigma on your mental health. I think anybody, regardless of you having sickle cell or not, um, would not like to feel judged, would not like to feel um, labeled, um, or would not like to feel isolated because of having a condition. And so certain stigmas can have a severe effect on your mental health because sometimes indirectly you start to believe them. And especially when it's people around you, you are either trying to prove yourself that you are not fitting in those stereotypes and stigmas, or you then isolate yourself because people don't believe that you are outside of that stigma.
Yeah,
So I feel like it does have a severe, effect on one's mental health, and we need to protect that. To be honest,
yeah,
yeah.
thank you. So, Mimi, how can people with sickle cell navigate conflicts and disagreements with friends and family that have arisen from misunderstandings about the condition?
I think people with sickle cell have to be with a strong mental health, and to be also, I, I don't know. It's very difficult to live with this awareness, and in my experiences, I was very lonely, and so I could not go to show people with my family, with people around me. I prefer to be
Mm,
isolate, and it's only when I grow and when I came in Belgium that I learn to be myself. I learn to be um, stronger than the prejudice people saw over my disease. And I think
mm,
we have to develop a strong mental health to protect ourselves. If you are not strong with your mental health, you can give up the over life. And
yeah,
yes, you can go through a depressive moment, and it's not easy. Very people can be destroyed because of because they have not a mental health so strong to raise up. And I think we have to learn about that. And patient association are there to be to do that education, to
Mhm.
give tools to the patient to be able to navigate in the system, I think.
Yeah. So, with that being said, then, what strategies can improve communication and deepen relationships, would you say, for people with sickle cell?
Yes, I think patient association and family presence can make the aware the awareness and the emotional impact to sickle cell disease. I think passion association and family and the career all together have to work
Yeah.
for the mental health of the patient and to show them the way to live with the disease and to be strong and to be relevant. I don't know.
Mhm.
Yes, is the is the the united work with all the the person that are around the patient, the
Mhm.
career, the families, the association, all together can be the way to have a good life with sickle cell disease. I think.
Thank you. And Daberechi, what strategies have you used or would you suggest that can improve the communication and deepen relationships for people with sickle cell?
Um, I think just communication, just having chats about, oh, how does it feel? What do you do? What can someone else do if they're with you? What's the strategy? Like if you was in a crisis when we're out, like what should I do? Or how can I support you to make things easier? Looking out for signs and being attentive to somebody that has sickle cell, just finding out what works for them, because obviously everybody that have sickle cell has different ways of coping and different ways they want people to respond to them in situations. So just finding out what works for them individually. Even counseling sessions actually surprisingly work with family, because sometimes family and friends are just so used to you that they don't dig deep and ask those questions that are necessary for um, your support or advocacy. So having like family counseling sessions where you get to speak and then they get to understand and they get to also speak on their part as well is necessary.
Yeah. So, I guess peer support and community organisations can fall into
Yeah.
that quite well. How can they
Mm.
help you to foster better family and friend dynamics?
Because sometimes you get to say things that you wouldn't say on a day-to-day basis, and they can be able to do the same, and that would bring about more understanding and a closer connection. Because once anybody who's understood feels closer to the person that understands them. So, even going to events that are about sickle cell and hearing about it in a different setting, it can make you feel like a bit more closer to the person that you're advocating for, because you're able to hear it outside of the contents of a normal conversation with them.
Yeah,
So yeah, I think it builds a stronger and tighter relationship.
yeah. And just thinking of the various different forms of support, what tools or resources would you say are available then to help family and friends to learn about specifically the emotional impact of sickle cell disease?
Podcasts like this, um, events, um, poetry, just there's so many things out there now which I'm so happy about, and they're all talking about sickle cell in different ways. It could be art, it could be poetry, it could be podcasts, it could be music, it could be different events, and there's you just know what that person likes or would be happy to do, whether it's go to an event or listen to a podcast or read a book, and you suggest those things to the person and just see how it goes, see how what they take from it, what they learn from it. There's so much out there, to be honest.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's nice to see such change, and more people discussing it. There's still a long way to go, but it's nice to see that there are more resources that are becoming readily available for not just those experiencing sickle cell, but their families and friends, and through various lenses. I know for me, a key area of my work is focusing on the impact of intergenerational trauma and how that could influence family dynamics, the beliefs, the psychological, but also philosophical beliefs and things like that. How do you think intergenerational trauma influences family dynamics and the mental health of those that are living with sickle cell?
I gotta take a deep breath because it's deep. It's actually quite deep. The mindset is very important,
Mm,
and sometimes if you're born into, say, parents or a surrounding where their mindset is a certain way about your illness, it can affect you in the long run. And no matter what age you get to,
mm,
that trauma can stick to you. It can actually be it guides your life
mm,
actually, because for instance, when I was younger, I was told that there was certain jobs that I couldn't do, or I couldn't fly, or I couldn't have children, or there was so many things that I was told, and I actually believed so many of these
mhm,
perceptions. I so much so that I didn't want to have children because I thought I can't anyway because I've got sickle cell, right?
mm,
And I thought that was a common knowledge. Meanwhile, it's not. And me ending up having children is because I had to just do the work for myself and just believe that I can't listen to what everyone else says.
mm.
You know, I was told that I won't live up till the age of 16. And when I passed that, I was like, oh, so they're wrong about some of these things. So I was told that I couldn't fly. And for the majority of my life, I didn't fly. And people were flying around me. And then now that I've taken that off my mind, I'm at the airport all the time. So feel like literally these things affect your mental health and they affect the way you see yourself.
Mm,
Some jobs you feel like you can't take because, oh, I'm not capable to do this because I've got sickle cell.
yeah,
Some places you can't go, oh, I'm not capable. I'm not capable. And it makes you diminish where you can go in life
mm,
because of what things have been said to you.
yeah,
Um, Also the way that other people may have treated you and made you feel like, well, you're not going to live up to that age anyway. So it's fine. You don't need to be involved in this or you don't need to be involved in that. Or even relationships that someone could say that, you know, you can't date her because she's probably going to die soon anyway. So don't waste your
mm,
time. You know, these are some of the things that have been said to me.
wow,
So I feel like it's very, very important to even just in your own mind,
mm.
like
Disconnect.
take yourself, yeah, disconnect from some of these things that have been said to you and challenge yourself.
Hmm.
I feel like with sickle cell, we have been told so much of things that we can't do that it suppressed our lives, and we need to prove to ourselves, not to anybody else, just to prove to ourselves that we can actually do all the things that we want to do with precautions. You know, whether it's taking your medication, changing your diet,
Hmm.
being active in your own way, we can do whatever we want to do in our own way with precaution. So
Yeah.
I feel like it's very important, like for people to go into whether it's a religious setting or whether it's a cultural setting or whether it's a school or workplace, and let them know, re-educate them,
Yeah.
because some people have had their own education that is not correct.
Yeah.
So it's very
And that
important.
becomes ingrained in your inherent belief systems, because we know as fact that intergenerational trauma is passed on through epigenetics. There are three forms of transmission, including through epigenetics, so biological transmission. So
Mm.
it's no easy feat to overcome that, something that's ingrained within you before you're even born. So to then have to not alone deal with sickle cell as a condition, but then have to reframe all of these belief systems and everything that has been ingrained in you from birth, is that's very challenging. It's a lot of work. but the outcomes definitely outweigh the difficulty of having to do it.
Definitely.
So Mimi, what do you like from your experience? What do you feel like the intergenerational trauma aspect has influenced your family dynamics when it comes to mental health?
For my experience, when you are younger,
Mm,
you see the bad side of the disease, and people around you see the bad side of disease. They don't give
yeah.
you, they don't give you any chance to grow and to have a life like other person. So you are living in constant fear to not be able to do something and not be able to have your own life. Many parents kept their children to be always in the house. Not can The children cannot be outside with other children, and it's you it makes you feel like you are living the life of a prisoner. I don't know to say that,
Yeah.
but when you grow, you can see by your own eyes that you are able to to live with the disease. If you have a strong mental health, if your parents can be able to let you live, to experiences things like other people, like other children, you can grow and to be an independent person who can live a life like a other person. I think
Yeah.
I think most of parents have to be educated by
Yeah.
how to make ground their children with a disease. Many parents like the mother that kept alone their children. I don't know what you call that. The lonely mother, a mother who have no husband.
Single mother.
Yes, single mother. Sorry.
Mhm.
The single mother have this um, attitude. Um,
Mhm.
attitude.
Yeah.
The single mother have always the fact to protect their children, but they protect too much their children, and the children became a person who is not very able to travel a life like a other person. I think
Mm,
single mother have is necessary to be educated, to be put in confidence. I don't know, because I have the education of my father, and my father don't let me be a lonely children. He he was constantly after me to raise me to let me live my life like all the children, and
to be more independent.
yes, to be independent, and that make that I have a mental health is who is very strong. But to I have to not to ask, but to take my independence from my father one day, and I decide to live my own life. But single mother don't want their children to have their own life. They will always keep their children next to them, and it's not a good thing to do, because that kind of children later they became fragile person, and they can they can be troubled by the disease, and they can be the, I don't know, they can be
Brings in other complexities.
yes.
Makes it difficult, yeah.
Yeah.
So how can friends and family then find the balance when it comes to supporting whilst encouraging independence for people with sickle cell?
I think they can be there, but not to be so close. They can be. Their presence is very good for us because to feel like you are abandoned, it's not good for people living with a disease like sickle cell. And I think
Mm.
by constant and faithful presences in good days and bad days, uh, parents and family are shown the most good thing that we need to grow on with the disease.
Thank you. And Daberechi, do you have anything to add with regards to how we can find that balance when providing support, but also encouraging independence?
I think just letting the person lead. Say, for instance, my daughter, because of the fact that I have sickle cell, it helps me a little bit more to understand her.
Mm-hmm.
So, therefore, because she's so young, I know that when I was younger, I was more sheltered, and it was a form of protection, but it had a negative, effect on me being over sheltered and overprotected,
Mm-hmm.
and not being allowed, just like Mimi said, to be with other children outside and do things that other people are doing. So with her, I try to give her as much confidence, educating her about her illness, and she fully is aware of what she goes through and what she needs. She knows how to be in the playground and say, wait, hold on, I need to go and drink some water.
Mm.
Oh, I'm not going to do that running because my leg is starting to hurt. So I'm going to sit inside, and anybody who wants to come play with me inside can come play with me inside.
Yes.
Otherwise, like, she just so confident in knowing herself and knowing her illness. She can educate her friends at 4 years old. She knows what to
Wow.
do for herself. Yes, she's very, very good at that. And I pump that confidence into her for a reason, because I feel like people with sickle cell need that extra confidence
Yeah.
to be able to protect themselves and advocate for themselves.
Mhm.
So I also let her lead. If I feel like there's an activity, she loves gymnastics and she loves things that are very active. But I also say to her, if you do things that are too strenuous, you know how your body can
Mhm.
feel. So, do you want to do this today or do you not? You can take a break, and it's okay to take a break. We have to let these people know, as carers, as advocates, as friends and family
Mm.
of our loved ones with sickle cell, let them know that they can take life at their own pace, and we're ready to be here to support them if they need that support. So just letting that person lead and guide their own life and being there for them in whatever ramification.
Yeah. And I think that's probably the key takeaway from today is confidence. Building that confidence in individuals from when they're young and they're experiencing sickle cell, so they have confidence in the disease, they understand their own body and what they're going through. Helping friends and family have confidence in being able to support and be there for you as an individual when you're in a crisis, but also during the times when it may not be as painful, but you still have other areas of your life that are being impacted because of the disease, for instance, mental health, and having the confidence to speak up and speak out about the condition, spread awareness, and to support others.
Yeah, definitely.
So I'd like to say thank you to you both for joining us today. Again, it's been another wonderful episode. So thank you to you, Mimi, and to you, Daberechi. And yes, guys, please keep watching. There are a few more episodes to come, and we're going to be sharing lots of information, lots of insight to personal experiences. But thank you for now.
Thank you.
If you have been affected by any of the topics discussed in this episode, please reach out to the European Sickle Cell Federation so we can signpost you to the relevant support services in your country. Our email address is office@escfederation.eu.